This is Owen. You might remember him from this video that got 24 million views about how he had to call his mom. And for those of you who missed the video, Owen likes to come into our store just about every day, especially during the morning hours. We became concerned that he might be skipping school and that his parents didn't know where he was at. So we called his mom and we found out that he goes to a special private school that has very strange hours. We were also concerned because he was coming in and spending a lot of money. He wasn't just buying ice cream, he would do back-to-back experiences. Each experience is $38 and we teach you how to do everything from make your own ice cream ball to throwing ice cream and even chopping and folding and eating it. But on his first day realizing that the ice cream shop was in New York City this whole time, he came over and did it 3 times in a row. That's about $114 and 6 ice creams later. But as you can tell now, since Owen isn't old enough to work here, but he's here all the time, he's pretty much become our little mascot, and we've decked him out in all of the merch. He originally had the shirt signed, but I guess it washed out in the laundry. To my surprise, Owen enjoys doing the experience so much that he's done it even more than those first 3 times. But he's never got to do it with me, and so I figured today, let's do an experience with Owen and add a couple extra new things that he's never done before, and hopefully we'll all learn something along the way. Every experience starts the same, and that's by washing your hands. When you wash your hands, you want to make sure you dry them off extremely well, because we're going to put these gloves on, and if you don't dry your hands off, it's going to be very hard. You'll probably rip them. Owen needs some medium-sized gloves, but I need some large. Now that we've all washed our hands and dried them off thoroughly and have our gloves on, it's time to talk about our special ice cream machines. It's a special type of Carpigiani ice cream machine called... Like I said, Owen has done this so many times that he could probably teach me how to make ice cream. But if you didn't hear him, the ice cream machine is called the Mr. Art Plus. It's very similar to the regular soft serve machine, but has a couple extra settings, and we can attach this really cool hose to it. Whenever we normally do an experience, the hose is already set up and it's attached to the machine, and you just get to learn how to fill your ice cream ball. But like I said, Owen has done this so many times, and I also want to show you a couple new things, so we're going to assemble this hose. I always like to make sure that all of my pieces are on the table and on display so that I don't forget anything before I start to put it together. Then first goes in the ball and then the spring. The ball and the spring may seem confusing now, but once we start to fill our molds, you'll understand that they're very important. The little ball is actually what lets the ice cream come out of the nozzle, and then the spring causes tension so that when you squeeze it, the ice cream can come out. This part can be pretty difficult because the spring likes to fall on the ground and disappear. I've watched this back so many times and I still cannot figure out where the spring rolled. If you want to watch this in slow motion and tell me, I still have not found the spring. I see it go to roll off the table and it goes under my arm and it just disappears. Thankfully, we do have some extra parts, so I'm going to grab an extra spring and put this down in here and make sure this one does not get lost. This time, being much more careful, we're going to squish this down and spin it around until it locks on, and then we have our nozzle all assembled. Now Owen's a little worried that since we're showing this in the video that other people are going to be upset that they didn't get to assemble the hose like he is right now. But I'll tell you the same thing I told him. If you would like to come to the ice cream shop just about every single day and hang out with us all the time, we will definitely show you how to do the hose when you come do your experience with us. Now that we've added the last little piece to our hose, we're hoping and praying that we did not forget anything so that ice cream does not squirt all in our face. And yes, I'm saying this because I've done this to myself before. Oh yeah, and if you're wearing gloves, do not touch your clothes or your hat or your hair or anything that is not food, because then you'll have to change your gloves, like I just had Owen do. I'm still so curious what happened to that spring, but now that Owen's back and has some new gloves in his hands, we're going to go ahead and screw this on to our ice cream machine so we can extract our ice cream through the hose and into our molds. I definitely suggest getting down onto one knee to see this as you do it, because if not, you might think that you're screwing it into the machine, but really you're just spinning it around, and you'll just keep spinning it for a long time until you realize that you are spinning nothing and you need to make sure it's lined up so that you're actually screwing it on. My next tip is to make sure it is as tight on there as possible without breaking it. Since this machine is pressurized with ice cream inside, once we pull that down, and if it's not screwed on all the way, there's going to be ice cream that's going to want to creep out the sides and drip all over you and on the floor. Now for the very special moment, Owen is pulling down the lever, which means ice cream is now being pushed through the hose and going to want to come out the other side. Every time you start to do this again, you want to test the ice cream to make sure the consistency is good. Sometimes if you let the hose sit out for a little bit, the ice cream in the hose will melt and it'll be all liquidy on the inside. To do that, we normally disperse just a little bit into a pitcher like this. Owen wanted to put the hose over his shoulder. I'm guessing he's seen somebody else do this before. Since this is the first round of the day, the ice cream looks great. We don't have to worry about anything and we can start filling some molds. While we get that ready, we're just gonna hang our hose up here since it's all good to go. And make sure the lever is not down so ice cream does not continue to fill up the hose. And these are our ice cream molds. This is how we make all of our ice cream into the shape of a ball, so we never have to scoop ice cream and you'll never have to break your wrist working here. At this point, I figured we can test Owen's knowledge. Let's see how much he remembers and see if I have to correct him on anything. Nope, looks like he perfectly filled it to the top. Once our ice cream balls have taken a nap and they're frozen down to about -40 degrees, we can pop them out of our mold. I think this part is pretty fun and satisfying if you have to do it a couple times, but if you have to do it a lot, it gets very cold. But now that we have our ice cream balls out of the mold, it is time to decorate our ice cream. The first step is to take your ice cream ball and dip it down into the white chocolate ganache and then shake off all the excess, dig a little hole with your other hand, and then drop your ice cream ball into that and then bury it all in all of the Fruity Pebbles. It's very important that, like Owen here, you keep one hand for just the chocolate and another hand just for the Fruity Pebbles, because then you'll make a huge mess if you don't. Now look at this perfect ice cream ball. Good job, Owen. I know you're probably very concerned that we have a bunch of random kids coming in here and dipping their hands inside of stuff that you might be eating. But I just want to let you know that we've thought this through and we do not use any of these same ingredients for something that you would be eating. We also go into great care to make sure that everyone has washed their hands and put on a fresh pair of gloves whenever they do handle anything pertaining to food. You always seem to ask what we do with the ice cream balls that fall on the ground. Well, this is one of the things that we do with them. We take them and we give them a new life by wrapping them in plastic wrap and teaching whoever comes in with an experience or new employees how to throw ice cream. One of my old jobs, we actually had a practice ball of ice cream that was almost 2 years old. We definitely do not have a 2-year-old ice cream ball here though. We haven't even been open a year. Our first anniversary is coming up on July 29th. To adapt to the demand of how many people want to catch their own ice cream, we actually transitioned to using buckets. These buckets make it much easier to catch your ice cream, and then that way we don't waste as many cups. But since Owen here is the master and he's done this so many times, I want to give him a challenge and give him a smaller container than the ice cream ball and see if he can still catch it. But before we test his catching, let's see how good he is at throwing. Alright, now I think he's ready. Let's see how he does. It's exactly as I expected. He's a professional. He got it every single time. Now that we've changed our gloves for a fresh pair and we got some clean spades, let's go ahead and grab out an ice cream ball so we can finish off this experience. Because what's an ice cream experience without eating some ice cream? The first step is to take the back of your spades and smush the ball down so you can start to smash and chop and fold your toppings into your ice cream. As you begin to beat it up and chop, fold it all together, don't worry, in a minute, you're going to have to give it a ton of love and start hugging it back together into a ball. And make sure you give it really tight hugs. And to my surprise, Owen launched his ice cream into the air. Most of my employees aren't even this good on their first week, let alone their first day. Now, here comes some sad news. Owen is actually moving in a couple weeks, so we have limited time left with him. So I want to say thank you for all that he's done for all of us at Catchin' Ice Cream and give him another shirt that's signed that didn't get washed yet. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Please let me know by commenting a glasses emoji down below. And if you're ever in New York City, come by and do the Catchin' Ice Cream behind the counter experience.